thinking back to someone like a Stephen J. Cannell, who was known for, what's it, detective shows and things like that back in the...
Rockford.
Right, right, 80s and 90s. And,
Sure.
Do you see anyone similar nowadays that's duplicated that same type of success? He was just such a name, and he still is. I think he writes books now as well. But that same type of branding, that one person in television these days.
Well, he was a very important figure in the history of television. And he worked at a time when an independent producer like him could create essentially an empire within the television world. Now, in the early 90s, the restriction against the networks from owning their own shows was removed, and that ended the days of the great independent producer. Now, yes, we still have a few of these people around, you know, the Law and Order, that sort of thing, the CSI franchise, and so on. But because now networks can own their own shows, they don't have to go to an independent producer who had all this power because he knew the network couldn't own the show. So their position has radically reduced. And I think there's been some advantages to that, but some real disadvantages to it.
What elements did you see in his stories?
He was a great popular storyteller, one of the best in the history of television. And he had a simple rule that he would always follow, which is that you send the hero up a tree, you throw rocks at him, and then you try to get him down. That was his structure, and it's a remarkably simple but very effective structure for telling a story, especially within the television world, and especially in, again, the standalone story, because this is that kind of simplicity of storytelling works perfectly in the crime and detective form. And that was, of course, what he was the master of, especially in shows like Rockford, which were comedy detective stories. This combination is very popular with audiences, especially with older audiences. And really, CBS built its entire network based on this type of show. So the form of the comedy detective, or simply the detective story, which works very well over 44 minutes, because you can quickly set up the problem, typically some kind of a crime. You go through a number of possible suspects, and because he was very good at trickery, at hiding who the real, killer is, you then get these nice reveals at the end of the story. Boom, it's over, the hero has accomplished his job, and I'm happy. And that was the power of the standalone show. So his type of storytelling was perfect for the standalone form. Now, where we have this much more of an emphasis on the serial form, many more characters, many more storylines that we are interweaving, this very simple kind of structure where we send the character up a tree, throw rocks, bring him down, is not nearly sufficient. We need a much more advanced understanding of how to tell a story that will extend over an entire season. And this, by the way, is what now the networks and the cable companies are looking for, which is they want to see that somebody has the ability to interweave a vast number of stories, keep them all going, a number of balls in the air, as they say, and to be able to extend it over an entire season. This is extremely difficult to do, and that's why, in my opinion, the very best writers working in the American entertainment industry are working on serial TV shows.